This is Listening with Franklin Livingston, and our guest is Emily Benazzi.
Thank you for putting this together and just like being open to hear people's stories. I think not enough people are open-minded enough to let other people share, I guess, the vulnerable parts about them. So this is really interesting. I think that it's a great way to connect with people on a social level too.
Thank you. Yeah, I think there's strength to it because we learn and grow when we listen to other people. Right? And if you just live in a homogenous community, homogenous could be racial, it could be religious, it could be, like your golf buddies and you spend more time with them. So you don't learn to grow. I have a friend, he's really experienced because he's early 70s and he was trained at HP Studio as an actor. I think in 80s he mentioned. And he says that he's not only limited to actors when it comes to friendship. Because a lot of people who are from acting background, they just feel comfortable with actors. So he has friends with finance, from people and other lawyers and stuff. Same with me. I try to learn from every person because I think that's what the beauty of the world is, because we all are not the same,
Yeah.
and
No.
and
We are so we are so similar, but we're not the same.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes, and it depends. I think it's a very I should clarify. Same doesn't mean that we don't feel the pain or we don't feel the disrespect. Uh, but in terms of our heights and our color and our accents and our economic classes and all that, and there's a lot of learning. For example, uh, this is a long time ago because I know you like to know about my background.
I do.
I was this was in Pakistan, and I visited with one of my friends then a poor village, and he knew how to relate to people. He was the leader, community leader, and I was not. I just went with him, and he went to a poor house, and in that culture, they would definitely want you to eat or drink something.
Like first thing, right?
First thing, and if you say no, they might feel that's impolite or why, right? Especially if you are from a privileged class and they are not, and the question is, oh, you don't like us or whatever. So they offered us tea, and the tea had milk in it, but no sugar. And I said, hey, do you guys have any sugar or something? I don't know how I phrased it. And he uh, wanted to say, but he wasn't able to. Later, he explained to me that these people, they don't have money to buy sugar. And they had milk because maybe they had an animal. Yeah, right. So the general rule of thumb is whatever they offer, you just take it. Unless you are sick or you have dietary restriction, then it's a little different.
Yeah.
But so that was a learning that how do people, everyone can't afford sugar. Now we don't care about sugar for milk, or depending, milk's pretty expensive. The gallon.
We definitely put values on things differently. And like we just expect them to always be there.
Yeah.
That's the issue. Because they've never not been there.
Mhm.
Well, I can say that like kind of privilegedly, like I could tell you all that, I mean, not saying that I haven't faced my own struggles financially with things and like, yeah, things are way too expensive for no reason. But yeah. So
And I think the other thing I've learned is by listening to others uh, helps me become a better human being. And I think in today's world, we need better humans. Am I perfect? No.
I can feel that. I can feel this from you.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no, I really do feel like this is something that makes you light up.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. Because I have lived, and sometimes when that's why now I also emphasize on the choices when you pick friends or when you become part of a community. What does it mean to you? If you don't think here, it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. It has some sort of impact. And I always ask, like, how was your upbringing? Because I know it's in some shape or the form, it affects people. Now, whether or not they have developed that awareness to deal with it if, God forbid, it wasn't good, or live with it if it was great, right? So the this group belonging, like when I started with the filming and acting and all that, there was a time I used to go to every audition. Then I dropped the idea. I thought, okay, if I go to 100 auditions, the percentage is 0.1%. And also, 7 or 8 years ago, people with my kind of appearance and all, the indie industry, low budget and private producers, they were still struggling to hire because usually the roles were for either white male, black male. I think Latin, when it was becoming slight thing, and then some sort of Indian, but then the Indian authentic who's an authentic Indian. I don't want to like fake it and get somebody else's role. And nowadays, in the past couple of years, mostly projects are LGBTQ plus people. So then there was a struggle that where do I fit? So I began producing my own content. But when I began producing, I was in in such a cycle. The reason we were able to film, I don't know, 100 episodes, we might not release all the roommates, because I was so committed. And that's something in me when I do something, my 100% focus is there. But there's a fear of doing it too much. People who become workaholics, it's the same kind of idea. Why? Because I think somewhere I was like, I got to showcase the content. Then there was a pressure, like cast pressure, as, oh, I need my footage. When will I be? Because everybody wants to show I did something. I did something. So last year, I think I saw this shift, which is also growing because I believe we constantly learn, we constantly grow and get mature. So last year, this was just like something I was working on myself that, okay, if I don't have to showcase, which actually was kicking in a couple of years before that. But then there was a pressure of this cast, like talent who comes and they act and they want to see themselves. Do I really have to be living for them? Because there has to be a line, right? When you begin being an empathetic doesn't mean forgetting your own identity and vocation. So you have an identity, you have your own vocation. Yes, you are supposed to be empathetic to others, but empathy means standing in other people's feet. It doesn't mean becoming them. Becoming like someone is different than becoming them, right? So then I was thinking of these people. In general, when we say you'll get your footage, it's when the film is released or a new project is released. And you never know. And there's so much cost involved, which a lot of actors don't understand. A lot of time goes into a lot of things because they are not trained that way or educated that way unless they have been producers. So if I were to just do it for them, do they have alternative ways they can create their own footage? These days you can even film on a phone camera and it's as good as a film camera, right? So then I slowed down and I decided, okay, now I should do something which helps others, which I did, which I have always been doing in my own way. But last year, the last section, the fall season and the winter, I was thinking, what should I do that benefits the broader community? And I had several talks with different people, and this was it. So we started this year. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful creation out of just a feeling and a thought.
Yeah. But there was a lot of thinking and processing and who should be on it, who should not. And and because one thing I always struggle, people who commit crime. It doesn't matter you talking about drug mafia or you talking about street crime. But there has been an unrest around the world. But previously, for me, it was New York City. And if somebody just like doesn't care and they're spitting on people, right?
Right.
Or just yelling at people, why? What's wrong? If they have some pain, sure, they could have that pain, the baggage they are carrying. But why didn't they get some sort of help? Now, help could be institutionalized help, healthcare, and you go to psychotherapy and all that, but it could also be a communal help because everything is not accessible to everyone.
Right.
And we know that.
This feels like that.
Feels like what?
Like communal help. Like, and not in like such a deep term, but just like being able to just talk about things openly is like really good release for people, I think. Especially now coming out of like the post-COVID era of like kind of being stuck in, and for the majority like being stuck in, but having all of that time to really have a reflection if it changed your life at all. I mean, I was still working though through it, so I know a lot of people that weren't, so they had a lot of time to really recognize what was important to themselves, and like, so yeah, there's a lot of inward, I think, focus coming out of that, which is really beautiful because this is like a revolutionary time in our history where we're greeted with the fork in the road right now. So
I think every kind of experience that is rooted in storytelling. Story could be a real story of your experience, or it could be fiction. It should leave you with something positive. Now, some people do find, and I have had these conversations, they can find something good in extreme fiction. Maybe that's a little difficult for me, depending what fiction is. As we talked about the horror movies, right? But I try to stick to drama. Even comedy, the series you were talking about. No, it's a stupid, it's like seedy, right? But again, there is a lesson. There are two main themes I see it. In so Franklin's character, who has this gigantic apartment, he lives by himself, right? He has a roommate.
I think you play the character really great.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And I wasn't sure if I could play comedy before that.
Oh, I
Because
bet that.
Because in the acting schools, I was always taught, oh, you should play intense roles and all.
No.
And
Comedy was perfect.
oh, great. So I tried. I wasn't sure, and we started with itty bitty things. And the person who was directing it, and she was like, "Nah, you're great. You deadpan and so on,
Yeah.
right, and all that." So I was like, "Okay, great." So we started from there and kept on going. Different people wrote it. There are a lot of writers involved. I think the most content is written by the guy who also has written a couple of movies. Those upcoming movies. Soon you'll see them being released. So he's phenomenal because writing has to be great. There are several writers, but I think one guy has written more stuff than the others.
Okay, nice.
And
That's so neat though. Yeah.
because he maybe knows me, has seen me closely, and he's a seasoned and well experienced, so that helps too, right? And
Well, I kind of, oh, damn, I feel like I keep having these things that come up and then they just disappear. But I wanted to just circle back on how you said like you were always felt like you were cast in a certain way. But like this whole series that you did with your roommate series, you were basically like taking control of not being cast in a certain way. Like you were like, the typical, you were like the lead in that. And when does
yeah,
are you
I actually didn't think like that. That, oh, this is not typical. But I was told that my voice resonance and the eyes, which I can do like this, it's better to play very intense roles.
okay?
And this is more, so this is not intense because the guy is privileged because he has money, but he's goofy. Yeah, he has some, I would say naive. I was going to say innocent. So he's naive, but he has a good heart. That's why we start with he has a roommate who doesn't have enough means to she wants to become a creative writer, and she doesn't listen to her, but she does have some impact on on his life, which we see later on.
Right.
And then the upcoming season is Love Tragedy, season 3.
Okay.
Because we see, okay, this guy, he has a classic car and he can host people. His male friend, is a blue-collared guy, a cop. We chose cop because we thought, and that's something cross-cultural, even the head of post-production, his parents are Indian, that gentleman,
Okay.
and he filmed a couple of seasons. Maybe no, a lot of seasons. I forgot. Sorry. So he supervises the post production. We were talking about this definitely, or when you see any commercial movies or the way cops have shown, that's a very stereotypical. You would show them with donut or extreme version of what we know from the culture. But this cop, he's not like a big guy.
Okay.
He does not eat donuts. So he drinks beer. But the biggest thing is, in his salary, he can't live in New York City, in the city. And he lives somewhere, I forgot where, in Queens or somewhere. And then, of course, he's a lonely, he's still looking for love. But then he has this job. He doesn't really want to do it, but he finds some sort of rescue at Franklin's place because he likes talking to him. Franklin treats him more like a human being. And they do goofy stuff, which is usually drinking beer. So that was easy for us to follow.
Yeah.
And that's the connection. That's also gives us the idea of diversity. That people we see in the city. When I used to live in the Midtown, I used to see a lot of these traffic cops, and they direct traffic in the winter.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much they are paid. Most likely, they used to sit at a couple of places to
I feel like
drink
good benefit.
coffee or whatever. I don't know. But I was told a cop is a blue collar person.
They're probably federal. Well, they're federal, so they get the good
They're federal or the state city?
yeah.
City of New York.
Well, they're gonna have to get the state benefits then.
I have no clue. But in the storyline, we showed like he doesn't have the kind of money Franklin has. Because Franklin is the guy who sold we changed the name from Pfizer to Kaiser, but he sold a formula to Kaiser.
Oh, it's perfect.
And then he went to Harvard Medical School, right? And because we got that idea to make it more realistic, a lot of people, like Pakistan is full of medical
Exactly.
schools and colleges, and a lot of people become
It's perfect. It's actually a great storyline.
Yeah, so that's but we don't set it up fully. It's like you have to watch a whole season or next season and then pick up these pieces. So there's some suspense involved or like missing pieces. But the whole objective is that this guy has a heart to welcome people who are not of his league.
That's
Right, which is important. That's the lesson, that it's important.
right.
And even if it's comedy, it's sweet. And then how do we learn? For example, my roommate is a very wise woman. She's full of conventional, street smart. And my character is not.
Right.
And a lot of people I've seen like that. And to the point where it's like Connery, and I'll ask him, and hey, how do you order this or something? I think it's funny that because I've seen that in the series, but that's the way it is, right? And Franklin and his roommate, they represent our culture.
Yeah.
But what I originally saw was when I was living in Manhattan, that these expensive buildings, it's just one-way traffic. Usually those people that don't have friends, when you see them hanging out, they are just like friends alike. So I wanted to challenge that to the series, that this is the way I think it should be. And then later on, you'll see he falls in love and then heartbreak, that, okay, he feels these things. Having money and all that, again, does not give you love and peace. Right? So there's lesson to that's your season 3. And then there's next season, what happens, and then it changes it totally different. So we have probably 10 seasons, I think so. So yeah.
Neat. That's awesome. That's exciting for you. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that with me. I can't wait to see more.
Sure. Now, let's get back to you 25.
Oh my God.
You did 17 to 25, you got a degree, became a photographer, and lived out your dream.
No.
Oh, no.
Not necessarily.
What changed?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Let's go back to talking about what we were just talking about. That was good stuff.
Great. I love your photography.
Well, I know photography was really fun. Yeah, I liked it. I got into it.
What about relationships?
Relationship.
Romance. First, I want to know, how do you define romance?
Oh, man, that's a big topic, huh? I don't know. Romance. I was really big into romance when I was younger. I just read all these poems. I was really into that. Just like typical, red hearts, poetry.
Chocolates.
Like I love love letters.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I know you love letters.
and love letters.
Even I can write love letters.
Yeah, but those are like my
Like
typical things of romance, like dancing, ballroom dancing. Oh my gosh, I took
you
ballroom
did all
dance.
this, or it was just in your head?
Huh? No, I would read a bunch of poetry.
But
Yeah.
never wrote like dear dad.
Oh yeah, I wrote.
When I look into your eyes, it reminds me of the blue light.
Dan's my brother's name, so no Dan.
Okay. Okay. Change it to what?
No,
Yeah. These some other white names, right?
no white names anymore. Yeah, no, yeah. Uh, I think I had my first boyfriend when I was in first grade. Like literally. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was so funny. It was a real.
What is he now?
Adam Stone. He's a nurse. He's a good guy. Yeah.
Well, hey, Adam. What's this?
I think he's a nurse. But last I've seen, he's doing great. But yeah, he was my first boyfriend. I can always say that. He gave me this cool little box of fake jewelry on my birthday and wrote "Happy Birthday, love, Adam." So I was like, "Oh, this is great." I'm like, we go and we have reading time, and he's holding another girl's hand. He wasn't holding my hand, so I was like, "We're done." That was my first heartbreak. That was like 2 weeks of just like, well, I said that it was heartbreak for the rest of my life. No, I didn't cry. Yeah, I did. Actually, I think I was crying actually on the carpet while it was happening. I have like no chill. I'm just like, whatever.
No, did you know he's a boy and I'm a girl?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so.
Yes.
Wait, what?
You, in that age, you knew he's a boy and I'm a girl?
I think that kind of happens when you play house sometimes, like that's one of the first things kids like to play actually is house. I've noticed.
I was just like, I'm trying to think what we did.
Is that you'll play, you're the baby, you're the dad.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm the big sister, you're the babysitter.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah.
like that's big in early play, like that. So I remember playing house distinctively. Yeah, a lot. I was kicked that doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean relationships are always kind of there.
When did you have your first adult?
First boyfriend, like for real, like 15. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's really.
Yeah, like 15.
I don't mind them. People will think, oh my God.
Yeah.
We get really late in our part of the.
We was 2 years, we went to his prom. He was older, 1 year older than me, so I went to his prom and that was cool. And then we just natural
Letters to him?
things. All my love letters got thrown out. I'm so pissed off. I wish I had.
How did you know that? He told you you were their friend.
What?
Thrown out.
No, I had all love letters that people had written to me.
Oh, wow. Family should write to you too?
Oh
my God.
yes, I did. Writing letters was a big thing. Like I always say that the lost
In the
art.
50s or
Yeah, like notes in school, passing notes. That was like our texting. So that's a lost art to me is passing notes in school. Oh yeah, we'd have so many letters and like the way you would fold them would be fun and different. And then like you'd pass them off to each other. Like, yeah,
When do I think I had a cell phone in
I did not have a cell phone.
90? No, I think I had 2002. I had my first cell phone, right? Yeah.
I got my first iPhone when I was like 21. So
No, this was before. Though we did not have. I think Nokia was the company.
yeah, I remember Nokia's. Yeah.
And iPhone, when iPhone came, I got iPhone 4 was the first one. I don't know. I had iPhone 4. I remember that was here in one of the wonderful states.
Excuse me.
It's okay. Do you want some tea?
I'm okay.
Thank you for getting me coffee. Latte.
No.
If you said latte, yeah.
Yeah.
Have it.
You went and got sweetener though.
I got a little bit sugar, not sweet,
Some sweet, yeah, some sugar.
because I didn't want to deceive you. The sweetness, so it was sugar.
It's okay. Sugar, sweetener, it's same thing, really.
No, sweetener is not healthy for you.
Well, I meant like something sweeter for.
Sugar is good if you want to grow a little
Yeah.
fat.
Nice.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
romance. I'm gonna ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you differentiate, because your ideas are very unique, different, so, or understanding? Do you differentiate between romance and sex, or it's all the same for you, or was, or is?
I think that society has made it very clear that romance is not sex.
Which
Sex is
society?
not
I
real.
think you gotta find that society.
Like, I think that has, like, pretty clear to, like, at least, I think, Western society, and,
I thought
like,
if
sex
you
is sex, you know what I mean? Like, that is, like, and people have made so much money off of it and exploiting it, really, and I think it's kinda gross, really. If I have to think about it, it's disgusting. I don't think that those things should be shared publicly and, whatever. I think that it's been overly saturated, and I think that it has convoluted what people believe romance to be. Romance to me is not the sex that's portrayed on the immense scale that it is here in America. I think that romance is more intimate, and intimacy does involve, I guess, sex too, but, I think that romance is kind of outside of the physical. It's understanding people on an emotional level, really though, and like being there for them emotionally. That I think is pretty romantic, honestly. Is like to be able to have somebody like fully confide their trust 100% and know that you're not going to judge them just because of the way that you're feeling about something, or just like have like a unconditional but compassionate kind of relationship towards somebody. I think that is pretty romantic. But I think that it's also
without so can romance be
exist without sex.
yeah, like no, the reason I'm saying so when for example back in the day, way long time ago, when I the way I used to understand romance, I think it might come across being a creep. Or just it doesn't work. Like writing a poem. Your eyes are so beautiful. It reminds me or whatever. Right?
Well, you have to be a good poet.
Right, but the next person should know. They should have some sort of. They should be accustomed to it too.
Yeah,
You're like, why
but
is he talking about his my eyes? That's so creepy, right?
yeah, but that comes from the person. Like, if you're really judging that person because of what they're writing and you're getting the ick and the cringe, you have to look at that. Why is that making you cringe? And like, like that's just what I think. Like, I always try to look back on myself and be like, I keep touching this. It's like, why do I feel cringy about what they're trying to give me? You know? Sometimes it's pretty cringy on there. Hard though. Like, but you also have to like look at like, okay, well, the one time I did feel super cringed out was like this guy, he's like, "Oh, I wrote this song." He's like singing this song to me and he's like pretending that the song is about me, and then he's like, "Your green eyes are so beautiful." And I'm just like, "My eyes
Yeah, I said green.
green."
Oh, he probably forgot to copy paste the.
Who was like, "You ruined it." And I was like, "This is dumb. Like, get me out of here. I'm not going to the movies with you." Or whatever. Silly.
No, I think there's a time for that. I mean,
Yeah.
you should do that when you are a little.
I'm into romance though.
You shouldn't start with like going to a stranger. I know somebody who took a bouquet after deciding to meet someone on Tinder or something. So that might be a little different, right?
That was
And yeah, when you develop something, and then, but then this is true that a lot of people don't understand. For them, what is going out on a date? It means eating and getting to an action.
that's
And
definitely modernized.
yeah, so the idea of romance, just talking and walking by the lake and all,
Yeah.
uh, that doesn't work because you're really feeling it. You just really can't wait, right?
I
And
understand. There's moments of passion too, but that's also romantic as well.
that is, doesn't mean. But one thing which then I struggle with is being vulnerable because a relationship that lacks that kind of romance where you can freely talk,
Mm.
compliment, given give and take doesn't have to be of expensive things, right? And it's just like cheering next person and at a well balanced. I also struggle with this idea still in 21st century in most of the American US, I should say. Uh, people I've seen a woman would wait for a man to propose. Why can't she just propose him? Hey, you want to get married? It's
Mm.
very simple. But some things I don't know why we as a community are so rigid to. He's got to propose. We've been dating each other. It's been 8 years. I think this summer he's going to do that.
Right.
We're going to Miami, and a lot of times it goes in the opposite direction. But why can't she say that? If you want to, like, hey, bro, say bro. But hey, you and I have been together for 4 months. And not 4 months, 4 years. Yeah, after 4 months too. I think we should get married and then make babies or whatever you want to do. I think we should together start a school where kids study in the nature for the thing you
Hmm.
are doing and wanting to do.
Oh, I have it. Yeah.
Yeah. So why it's so
That's a really complex question, though, that you have. I mean, like, that's super complex.
question like why I think it becomes question when we bring in the tradition and the norms.
You're asking, like, why do you feel, or why society tends to make men propose? Why can't women just do it? I think that there's a really big, complex answer to that.
Wanna
And
give it our answer?
sure. I mean, I'm not sure if I'm like 100% educated on it, but like, I think that what it kind of gives me the feels is like, why don't more women propose? Well,
And do you know in some parts of the world I've seen it's very common?